All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at why our brains are, honestly, fundamentally misjudging the greatest technological shift in human history. We are standing on the very edge of a completely transformed world, yet as a society, we're vastly underestimating what's actually coming. So today, we're going to break down the mechanics of this disruption. We'll unpack the cognitive illusions that are kind of blinding us to the reality, and most importantly, we'll outline a structural, human-centered plan to ensure we don't just survive this era, but actually thrive in it.
So, to kick things off, we really need to ask a pretty vital question. What do the invention of electricity and the rise of artificial intelligence actually have in common? It might sound like kind of a weird comparison at first, but the way humanity answered this exact question in the past perfectly mirrors our dangerous blind spots today. Sometimes looking backwards is literally the only way we can realize exactly where our current logic is failing us.
Section 1. The categorical error. Let's look at how we're categorizing this massive shift. When electricity first arrived on the scene, people made a massive foundational categorical error. They looked at a glowing light bulb and thought, hey, that's just a better candle. They called it a mere lighting technology. And if you thought like that, your predictions for the future were terribly limited to just brighter rooms in brighter roads. By putting it in that lighting box, people entirely missed the resulting energy revolution. The revolution that brought us global refrigeration, the cinema, modern electronics, and entirely new ways of living.
And man, this brilliantly illustrates the exact same mistake we're making today. We're just casually calling AI a technology revolution, which is literally like calling electricity a better candle. We think of it as just faster software or a way better search engine. But it's not a technology revolution. It is actually a boundless intelligence revolution. And that is a massive categorical difference. When you inject intelligence into absolutely everything, the disruption is infinitely deeper and way more pervasive than just upgrading the apps on our phones.
So this intelligence revolution, it's arriving in 3 brutal waves. Right now, we're zooming through wave 1. These are asynchronous agents that can just go off and do your cognitive work while you're sleeping or out at the gym. Wave 2 happens when AI gets a body. Embodied humanoid robots are already operating autonomously in factories, and pretty soon they're going to be doing laundry and working in nursing homes. That means blue-collar work is just as disruptible. And then there's wave 3. We call this the everything disruption. It disrupts every strata of society. Our universities, our personal relationships, our entertainment, our basic trust in reality, and inevitably capitalism and global economies themselves.
Section 2. The exponential blind spot.
So if this disruption is truly this massive and all-encompassing, why aren't incredibly capable, super smart people forecasting it properly? Well, our brains are kind of lying to us. Let's do a quick mental exercise to show you why. Imagine taking a standard piece of printer paper and folding it in half. It gets a little thicker, right? Now fold it again. Keep folding it over and over again, exactly 42 times. How thick do you think that paper becomes?
It's the distance from the Earth to the Moon. No way, right? But it's mathematically true. If you fold it 42 times, the thickness stretches from our planet all the way to the lunar surface. That is the awe-inspiring power of exponential growth. It's this mind-bending, compounding reality that our biology simply cannot intuitively process.
The real issue here is that our brains evolved in a very linear world. Every physical step you take is exactly 1 meter further than your last slow, steady step. Because we are perfectly tuned for that linear, step-by-step reality, we are quite literally blind to the hyper-exponential tidal wave of AI. AI isn't growing in straight lines. It is doubling in speed and capacity every 4 to 6 months. While we're out here trying to predict next year by simply taking today and adding like 10%, AI is multiplying itself over and over again across dozens of scientific fields, all at the exact same time. We can actually define this specific gap in our perception. It's called surprise. It's this massive, chaotic space between our straight-line human predictions and the extreme upward hockey stick reality of AI. That gap of surprise is a really dangerous place to be. It's the exact space where governments get caught completely flat-footed, where entire legacy companies are wiped out overnight, and where millions of everyday jobs are suddenly lost simply because no one saw the wave cresting. This is exactly why your ability to anticipate this matters so much right now.
Section 3. The uncertainty pandemic.
We aren't just dealing with some digital transformation here. We're facing a deeply human one. Because our world is structurally less predictable than it's ever been, we're right in the middle of an uncertainty pandemic. And here is the raw biological truth. Simply not knowing the future acts as a harsh stress stimulus. It triggers our limbic system, specifically our amygdala's fear response, just like spotting a venomous snake out in the wild. This uncertainty fundamentally hurts our well-being. It crushes our creativity, and it keeps us locked in this permanent state of anxiety.
So how we react to this is absolutely everything. Fighting this uncertainty, it's like struggling in quicksand, where you're only going to sink deeper and burn yourself out. But here's an amazing psychological fact. The physiological state in your brain when you are stressed by uncertainty is almost identical to the state you're in when you are on a thrilling roller coaster or watching a great horror movie. The difference isn't the physical feeling, it's the story you tell yourself about that feeling. We have to actively change our narrative from a panic-induced fight or flight response to the thrill of an incredible opportunity.
To go from just surviving to actually thriving in this new reality, you've got to follow 3 clear steps. First up, embrace the reality of an uncertain world. You simply cannot make things fully certain again, and that's okay. Second, understand your biological stress response. Your fear isn't a lack of intelligence. It's literally just your brain reacting to the unknown. And third, practice daily cognitive reframing. Find moments of uncertainty every single day and consciously pivot them into something positive, exciting, and filled with opportunity.
Section 4. Managing massive change. Now, this individual psychology absolutely applies to massive societal shifts too. We humans inherently struggle with vast change, even when that change is incredibly positive. Think about it. Historically, a lot of lottery winners who suddenly gain millions of dollars end up totally regretting it. They face severe mental health challenges and lose friends, well, unless they bring in specialized change managers and psychologists to help them cope. The crucial takeaway here is this. Even if, magically, we could jump straight to an AI utopia of pure abundance, it's the sheer magnitude and speed of the change itself that would still throw us into absolute chaos.
And that is exactly why we need to firmly ground our focus. We've got to stop being hijacked by these sci-fi Terminator distractions. Sure, debates about AI sentience or rogue superintelligence on some hypothetical horizon are totally valid for scientists to work on. But the ground reality right now? It's profound mortgage and job anxiety happening to everyday citizens today. We absolutely must shift our resources immediately to the real, pressing human stress that is already sweeping right through our communities.
Section 5. Building the AI bridge.
So here is our macro-level solution for how humanity actually survives this coming decade without collapsing under the weight of it all. I'm deeply optimistic about where this tech can take us, but we really have to define what kind of optimists we're going to be. A passive optimist just sits back and thinks, things will just work out on their own. We cannot afford that mindset. We must be active optimists. An active optimist says, we will be okay, and we can absolutely achieve an incredible golden era of abundance, but only if we roll up our sleeves and put in the hard work today. We have to actively build the bridge to that future.
The absolute #1 policy gap in the entire world right now is the complete and total lack of national AI change plans. We need massive frameworks scaled all the way from our living rooms up to our national governments. We need structural guidance to help citizens navigate extreme job disruptions. And we must boldly recognize that this challenge supersedes almost all other global projects. Listen, if we don't manage this disruption and we hit 30 or 40% unemployment, society will fracture. And in that chaos, every other vital project we care about, from the climate to the economy, will completely stall and fail. We need a bridge wide enough and strong enough for 8 billion people.
Look, this intelligence revolution is inevitable. The changes are already locked in. But remember, the most important technology in the room has never been artificial. It's always been our own humanity, our minds, and our capacity to adapt. So I want to leave you with this really vital question. As this exponential wave approaches, are you going to passively stand on the edge with your fingers crossed, or will you start actively advocating for the blueprints of our bridge? Think about it. See you in the next explainer.